Hi, I'm Renee Davero from the Club for Creative Expression. Thank you for tuning in. I miss seeing you so much. And I'm honored to be able to do this once again, because normally I have a guest. So if you're not familiar with the Club for Creative Expression, the intention was to provide to all members the platform from which you will be able to develop and express individuality through an artistic medium of choice, thereby enriching spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. Of course, dancing had become a fairly effortless means of self-expression, but sadly, not yet available. I miss it a lot. So first, my disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I am a holistic practitioner and have been in private practice for over 40 years. I am not here to preach, criticize, or convince. I am here to share information and offer suggestions that may provide support during these stressful times, all based on natural therapies, which have helped thousands of clients over those 40 plus years. I am still self-employed, and I'm offering coaching and counseling on any of the areas I speak about on a donation basis, by phone or in person if you are local. You can always leave a voicemail or text me at 949-295-8077. If you don't like or trust natural alternatives, or holistic healing for that matter, this show may not be for you. I want to delve into each of the areas I spoke about in the last show. Exercise, essential, no ifs or buts. You must stay active. Lots of online programs are being offered showing group classes. Get a trampoline. Start gradually. It will help activate your lymphatic system and keep your bones strong. If your feet are swelling, it may be a sign of a stagnant lymphatic system. Weight training and long walks will make a difference too. Much equipment is available that can easily fit into your home. Do all you can to be creative and active. Regular physical activity, regular physical activity will enhance lung resilience and endurance, and can also enhance immunity by reducing maladaptive chronic inflammation. Notice that word, it'll keep coming up. I also believe that we need to exercise from head to toe, and if you want to stay away from fillers and surgeries, consider facial exercise. I'm thinking of teaching a facial exercise class on Zoom, exercises that I've been doing over 30 years. Please let me know if there's any interest. When it comes to nutrition, you are what you eat. I also believe that health is my responsibility, and consequently, I am more than conscious about what I consume. My health is more important to me than how things taste. I was sick. I was very sick at one time, and so anyway, the taste is not as important as it is to some people, but even so, I eat delicious food that I prepare myself. No, I'm not vegan or vegetarian. I eat meat and plenty of it. I've always encouraged everyone to be very mindful of their immune system. At this particular time, enhancing immunity is vital to your health and well-being. If you aim for balance, please stay away from inexpensive prepared food. You'll be ahead of the game. Much stress-related eating will affect disorders of emotional suppression, depression, your appetite, insulin resistance, hypertension, arterial disease, and inflammation. All of these conditions suppress your immunity. You may not be aware that periodontal disease is one of the most common causes of chronic inflammation and a definite link to heart disease and autoimmune disorders. I want to list some of the disorders that can also be developing, not to frighten you, but to inform you and perhaps inspire you to make some needed changes. Disorders of mood and anxiety are linked to the gut-brain connection. There is a direct connection between the transverse colon and the brain. Inflammation in the brain and body, along with gut bacteria, link generalized anxiety and persistent depression. Sleep loss and fatigue normally are impairments of anxiety, mood, appetite, and inflammation. Disorders of maintaining sleep can be due to chronic psychological stress coming from threat and causing the release of cortisol, noradrenaline, and causing chronic inflammation. You see, chronic inflammation is big, and please do everything you can to tame it, to keep it down. So I've always believed in food as medicine. So here are some specifics. You want to minimize that inflammation, so be sure to include these anti-inflammatory nutrients in your diet. Animal proteins such as fish, chicken, turkey, lamb, beef, and eggs are far superior protein or sources of protein opposed to vegetable protein. Fruits and vegetables, starches and fats, polyphenols in turmeric, garlic, cocoa, green tea, and grapes. They're also anti-inflammatory, but you can't just eat those all the time. So, several in vitro studies report that viral replication is inhibited by quercetin. That's Quercetin, and EGCG, that's found in green tea, and by increasing zinc. You may already be aware of the value of vitamins A, E, D, C, and all minerals. Do be cautious regarding zinc. Too much can throw off your copper-zinc balance and causing enzymatic issues. So, glutathione also comes from sulfur and easy to get if you eat eggs, onions, and garlic. Otherwise, you might consider a supplement. Do be mindful that all vitamins are not created equal. Some have so many fillers, including artificial coloring, stearic acid, and here, I'll just read some from this product that I bought just so I could have that list of awful ingredients. Microcrystalline cellulose, dicalcium phosphate, words that I can't pronounce, some kind of sodium, magnesium stearate, titanium dioxide, polyethylene glycol, talc, TALC. You're probably aware of the many lawsuits brought against Johnson & Johnson for their baby powder. So why would you want to take it in a supplement? Beyond me, why those unnecessary and harmful ingredients are in products that you pay money for. So those without so many additives may cost you more, but they can actually do you some good. So first, stop doing what sabotages you and causes the chronic inflammation. Stopping the chronic inflammation is essential, and that means that you must make some adjustments in your diet and cutting down on the carbs, okay? I am old school and trust my health and well-being to nature. I believe in what I learned so long ago, that fresh air and sunshine can actually be our best friends. The ancient cure for respiratory conditions was to expose your bare back to the sun for 15 to 30 minutes per day. And if you are accepting the fashion or the current fashion statement and wear a mask, you may want to do something to compensate for what's occurring in your body. You've got to do some heavy breathing when not wearing the mask to release some of the accumulating carbon dioxide that may be harmful to your health, especially your brain. And when you think about it, Isn't carbon dioxide that is being blamed for climate change? Why would you want to be recycling it wearing a mask? I I keep asking that question. There are various well-known doctors who agree with me on this. Dr. Russell Blaylock is one of my favorites, but there are many others who are speaking the same truth. Also, take extra vitamin D in combination with vitamin K. Inhaling essential oil of eucalyptus may help to clear up your lungs. And I do want to remind you that viruses grow best in acid mediums. So that means that if you're consuming lots of carbs, you are making yourself more susceptible. Yes, animal protein can also create acidity, but it's so much more important to consume protein than it is the sugar-laden goodies that, unfortunately, everyone seems to crave, particularly at this time, as comfort food. Age does make us more susceptible, but a recent study found that obesity also sets one up, not just for innumerable diseases, but actually impacts immunity negatively. Be mindful of your diet. Throw out the foods containing empty calories and focus on life-sustaining nutrition. As you might have heard me say before, I believe in the power of the mind. And at this time, so full of stress and anxiety, it's a challenge to use that power. I'd like to make a couple of suggestions to help you handle the stress. Restorative sleep is essential in reducing brain inflammation, improving viral and amyloid clearance. And for that, I recommend lemon balm, St. John's wort, theanine, glycine, and melatonin, plus hypnosis. Bear in mind that melatonin is a hormone, and if a little is good, a lot can throw off hormone balance. If you're suffering from depression, beware of antidepressants. There are side effects that may not please you in the long run and may actually work against you. And it also may make you feel better when you work on what is depressing you. There are benefits in reframing adversity in ways that increase predictability and a semblance of control. Investigating the habits of emotionally resilient people may inspire you. Establish mind over mood habits. Acquire optimism by establishing a mindful mindset, becoming conscious of what you focus on and the direction of your thoughts is essential. Developing habits through non-judgmental awareness will certainly reduce stress levels. It's about separating oneself from the daily hassles and taking the time to reassess. Take a deep breath and relax. And if you haven't heard of emotional freedom technique, you might want to explore that. EFT has been proven to be very helpful, both for stress, and I use it also when people don't want to be hypnotized. I also rely on herbs and aromatherapy. At the top is ashwagandha. It's an ancient herb that can help you relax and can also help lower blood pressure, but it may not be for you if you're on high blood pressure medication. If so, if you are, you may want to experiment with aromatherapy, a combination of essential oils such as lavender, tangerine, bergamot, geranium, frankincense, and chamomile can not just help you relax when applied to the bottom of your feet. I can almost promise that combination will put you to sleep. Other herbs to help you relax are valerian, hops, and magnolia bark. And as you learn to relax, You may want to remember what your life was like and may wish to reassess, rediscover, and restructure your life from a more conscious place in the psyche. During this period of isolation, what has happened to you? Are you frustrated, bored, or anxious and afraid? Or perhaps all of that? A lot of time might have been spent with friends who are also in a state of fear. And now, are you just spending a lot of time watching TV and eating in order to find comfort? I truly feel this is an incredible time, an opportunity to examine past life and create a new way of living the remaining years. In solitude, we can meet ourselves and do some soul searching regarding the disappointments, traumas, dreams long forgotten, or pushed aside because of the demands made upon you. Perhaps it's time to question or examine the conditions and situations that have brought you to this place in your life. Are you pleased? What would you have done differently? I've had so many tell me throughout my long career how they've regretted not having accomplished what once was in their hearts. Also, I always tell them, it's not too late. Think of how many people didn't access a particular skill until they reached their elder years, or didn't start their life's work until they were in their 70s. And many kept going well into their 90s and beyond. And as I said before, perhaps it's time to restructure your life and create one that is meaningful, productive, and fulfilling. That's what I had in mind when I founded the Club for Creative Expression, to provide a platform in which one could explore skills and long forgotten intentions as to what you planned to do when you grew up. During the last show, I asked some questions for you to ask yourselves, and probably the most important one to ask, particularly because of current circumstances, was this one. Are you merely tolerating life being just okay or not being as good as it could be simply because your predictable future is not inspiring you? I'm asking it again since I realize how many are suffering from depression and many are in denial of it. My intention is to remind one and all that we are spiritual beings having a human experience in a body that is full of feelings and emotions. And if we don't stop to acknowledge that those feelings and emotions often cause us to react rather than respond, we're not doing justice to the power that is alive and perhaps not so well within us. I'm bringing this up because I see, and I have been the recipient of severe animosity because I hold different views about a lot of things. Perhaps it's time to examine why so many react viciously when someone expresses an opinion that is different from their own. Why simply not allow the freedom of speech that we as citizens have held so dear? This is precisely why I believe it's an opportunity to examine our beliefs and to realize that others hold beliefs just as dearly as you hold your own. Case in point, I believe the sun is my best friend. I truly love it. I moved to Mexico because I wasn't seeing enough of it in Northern California. I believe that something that makes me feel so good cannot possibly hurt me. I've only used sunscreen on my face when I'm going to be out in it for a long time and have never used it on my body. Again, that's my belief, and it's true for me. It works for me. I would not dream of telling anyone who is afraid of the sun to go out in the sun with or without sunscreen. That's a personal decision. and I respect that. So, with our beliefs, they are true for the people who believe them, but not for one and all. Please let that sink in. This is certainly a part of the spiritual journey, finding your truth, living by it, and allowing others to live by theirs. That's where respect and integrity come in. I sense that at this time, we must come together and bring back the values that were once so dear. And I can honestly say, made me fall in love with the United States and its people, and have regretfully watched disappear from our culture. When I see the lack of respect and loss of integrity that exists, I have often asked, when and how did this happen? I can't express how sad I feel when I see how far afield we've come from principle, how we seem to have lost our way and no longer have the desire to connect with the very source of our existence. Each of us has a spark of the divine. We're not gods. We are created in God's image. And perhaps it's time to become conscious and respectful of the divine energy within. Perhaps at this time, when introspection is so important, we should be asking ourselves, am I pleased with who I have become? Thank you for watching.